today we're going to be talking all about how to use the power of animated video in your classroom in 2023. So hopefully you're all excited about this session as we are. And today I'm joined by Oliver, but I'll let him introduce himself in a bit. So yeah, I think we can just get started with the introductions to today's session. So what we're going to cover today. So we're going to give a quick introduction to VideoScribe. So just in case any of you have joined us today and you've never used our software before, hopefully that will just give you a quick sort of overview of how it works. And then I'm going to hand over to Oliver, who's going to take us through the power of using video in the classroom. He's also going to take us through the templates and images that we have for educators in VideoScribe. And then he's also going to take us through some ideas for teachers and students for videos. And then we'll have our Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions as we go through the session today, we do have a chat box. So you can leave any questions in there, and then me and Oliver will hopefully have a few minutes left at the end to answer any questions that come in. So let's introduce your speakers. So my name is Clemmy and I'm the content marketing exec at VideoScribe. So I've been with VideoScribe for about 6 months, and my main responsibilities here are managing our social channels. I also write blogs and manage our email campaigns. And I'll hand over to Oliver to introduce himself.
Cool, cheers Clemmy. Yep, my name's Oliver. I've been with VideoScribe for about 3 years now. I started as a training and e-learning content creator, so providing on-site and remote training to clients, producing learning content for our website. But I've also done a little bit of social media work with some of our animations. I've created some of the templates and the images that you can find in VideoScribe. And I'm also involved with the support side of VideoScribe as well. So you might have chatted to me via email if you've ever had an issue with VideoScribe. So yeah, that's pretty much covers me.
Nice, thank you. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited that you're with me. So yeah, I'll give a quick sort of overview to VideoScribe. So if you haven't used this before, hopefully this will just help you understand more about what we do. So in a nutshell, we are an easy to use animation software. So basically anyone can use VideoScribe to create animated videos. So you could be a complete beginner, and we have a big range of customizable templates. So that's a really nice place to start if you are a beginner. If you are a bit more sort of an advanced animator or a designer, you can also use VideoScribe. So you could start with a blank canvas. So the screenshot here actually shows the interface of our browser version, and this is a blank canvas. So you could literally start with just a complete, blank and make it as complex as you'd like. So that's a great thing, is that is suitable for anyone. And we do have a free 7-day trial. So if you do want to try VideoScribe after the webinar, you can just go to our website and try it out for free and see if it would be suitable for your projects. So I'm going to now hand over to Oliver, who is going to take us through the session today.
Cool, thanks Clemmy. So I guess to sort of start off with, we'll just cover why sort of video is such a suitable tool to use within the classroom. So first of all, it's really great for grabbing the attention of your students. The world we live in today is so video centric. Students, well, all of us are sort of seeing video in every facet of our lives. And it's just, such a core part of our experience now that incorporating it into the classroom is kind of a no-brainer. It really does grab the attention of your students over a static piece of learning material. It provides that sort of visual stimulus that acts as something to sort of keep them alert as to what they're taking in. You also may not necessarily think of video as an interactive experience, but you can use video for various different sort of interactive activities like quizzes, quick fire rounds. sort of student introductions or teacher introductions. So it's really good for increasing class participation in that respect, in that you can use it to really sort of draw in your students and sort of get them involved and get them active. Videos support all sorts of different learning styles. So obviously, visual and auditory learners are very much stimulated by video, but also those who enjoy reading might benefit from video content as well, depending on how much you balance your visuals with text. The main thing is that video gives you a chance to exercise all three of those facets. So visual, reading, and auditory learners are all engaged by a piece of video content. Statistically, it has been proven that video is of great benefit to students. So you can see on screen here, a learner is likely to remember 95% of audio-visual content, but also information is processed faster through video as well. It's also worth noting, we've got that final point on portability, and this sort of covers a few different things, because first of all, we are living in a world now where remote learning is such a thing. It's very valuable for students to take content away home with them and then use that in their revision and in their studies, and video is ideal for that. You can just provide a video file to your students, they can watch that again and again, or alternatively, if you're setting students the task of creating their own videos, that is a revision process in and of itself, and they are creating content that they can go back to and they can play back, and it will convey that same level of information and again and again. And also, video calling as well, in terms of that portability. Videos are really valuable as a supporting material in video calls if you are using remote learning. Cool. So maybe the sort of biggest part of VideoScribe that supports education is the image library. So now we've got somewhere over 11,000 images in our library, so no small number. And these are all split into different categories. So you can either search for them however you like, but they are also split into different categories that can be useful for different learning contexts. So you can see in this little GIF, it's got our education folder highlighted, which obviously covers, a lot of general education context, students, teachers, educational apparatus. But we then have, different categories that you can use for specific scenarios. So we've got topical folders like geography, music, science, sport, which are very sort of, subject specific, and you can get into real good detail with some of those images. And then we have some sort of general purpose folders that are really useful for education as well, like charts, shapes, arrows, which really work as supplemental materials for your animations. But really, the vast brunt of the images in the VideoScribe library can lend themselves to a whole range of different sort of educational contexts. And these are just a few examples of some of the images in our library. So in particular, you can see here we've got a number of different characters, and some of these are in different styles. We do have a huge number of people in the VideoScribe library, which make really good sort of equivalent. We've got young people you can use as students, we've got adults you can use as teachers. They're all or many of our images are color customizable, so you can customize those images to fit, if, say for instance, if you want to involve your class and you want to sort of have a specific student on screen, you can customize these characters to resemble real people. And these characters come in many different poses and situations and emotions as well. So if you're telling a story over the course of your video or going through a process, these are really useful for maybe showing the same person at different stages in that process and how they feel at different points or what they have to do at certain points. So they're really, really useful for that. And they come in a range of different emotions, different ages, different ethnicities. So it's a very flexible resource to have, and it really adds that sort of level of engagement by including sort of characters in your video animations. The other sort of valuable resource that we have is the template library, and many of our templates are educationally themed. We have a range of different templates, including things like teacher introductions. So, Scribe to sort of introduce yourself to your class, lesson overviews to cover content, various sort of subject specific templates. So if you want to create, say, a science class as an animated video, you can do that using one of our templates. And really the important thing about templates are that they are a sort of professionally designed starting point for you. So they have all of their images, all of their text sort of set up, all of their animations in place. And then all you need to do is customize it to your liking. So you can switch out the text, switch out the images and the animations. You can expand it however much you like. So they're modular, so you can just keep going beyond the original template if you want to make your video longer. But they're intended as a way of just diving into the software and very quickly putting together something that really suits your, whatever you need your video for. You can very easily customize, the colors to fit your company color scheme, for example. But they're a really, really great resource to have, especially if you're first starting with VideoScribe. I'd recommend just jumping into the templates library, giving one of them a spin and, seeing what you come up with, because very quickly you can come up with something that looks great and covers all the bases as well. So this is a little sort of video demo of us customizing one of the templates. So this just shows you how easy it is to, change the text, switch out the images, change the colors of the templates in our library. We can see here we're just customizing a teacher introduction template. So this is just free scenes in the browser version of VideoScribe, just introducing yourself to the class. It's a really great way of sort of, introducing yourself with a bit of energy to your students. It's worth noting as well, so the templates are in both the desktop and the browser version of VideoScribe. So many of the templates are in both versions. Some are exclusive to one version or another, but we have a template library for each version of VideoScribe. So whether you're used to, the original desktop version, or if you're starting to sort of pick up the browser version, our new version with a few more features, we do have templates in both that you can use. It's also worth noting for anyone who's sort of looking to customize their scribes according to their like company or their institution house style, that you can import your own fonts into both versions of VideoScribe. So if you want that extra level of sort of customization, you can do that. So you can see very quickly we've managed to just change some of the elements, cover all of the text and sort of change it accordingly, and then just go ahead and export it. So that sort of shows you how our templates can be used in that respect.
Okay.
Cool, thank you. So yeah, it's, I guess to sort of cap off this or maybe the main brunt of this webinar is sort of giving you some ideas for how to use video within your institution. So how videos can be used by teachers, how they can be used by students, and how you can use them behind the scenes as well to, in terms of social media or in terms of communication within your school. So first of all, some ideas for how you can use them as a teacher. So obviously we've covered through that template, a sort of teacher introduction. It's just a really good way, I think, of introducing yourself with a bit of energy, you know, giving students some visual references as to, you know, what you're going to be covering over the course of the course. And just, you know, sort of showing a little bit of your personal style as well to show, you know, how approachable you are as a teacher, how supportive you'll be during the course. We also have a class rules template. So this is a really useful one. I think a really cool idea is using this to, you know, having it playing on loop maybe as your class comes into the class. So, you know, this just covers off all of the rules that you have for your classes, just as little text points with a little diagram, and you can just have it playing on loop as the students come into the room. Then sort of lesson overviews or agendas. Videos are ideal for this as well, particularly because you can, you know, especially in the desktop version of VideoScribe where you have that camera you can use around, you can move around the canvas of your video. You can kind of create diagrams to show how your lessons relate to the wider, the broader course. So showing where we're at in the context of the course, what we're going to be covering, and then sort of showing where you're going to be moving to next. We'll see we've got an additional point about our mind map and whiteboard explainers. So these are really great for, like I say, for creating those diagrams that I've mentioned, but also for a broad range of, you know, different course projects that might be worked on, because basically the way the mind map works, if you think of, you know, a traditional mind map, through a video you can sort of focus in on each element of that mind map and gradually build it up over time, having VideoScribe draw the elements one at a time and then zoom out to show the whole thing. So this is really good for, you know, showing a story unfolding, sort of showing, you know, from start to end, and then zooming out to show the whole thing, or showing a system, how a system works, or you know, just showing how things sort of relate to one another through a diagram. Similar to the lesson overview, you can create sort of really good learning reflections through video. So just, you know, shooting off everything that you've covered in one video, maybe using images to sort of encapsulate topics. It can be a really great way for students to revise that way, just by sort of using those images to sort of represent singular topics, because, you know, then it's just so much that they can bring that image to mind and sort of remember what's been taught. We've got, so I mentioned our topical or our subject-based templates. So these are really good for explaining topics with animation. So having a scene that's kind of designed to resemble a certain subject, you know, a history scribe, for example, might have sort of historical backdrop, and then sort of you can explain within that framework your topic that you're covering. So video is a really great way of just creating that atmosphere, you know, really immersing your students that way. And then finally, sharing assignments is a good opportunity to use video as well. One cool way you can do this is to create a video that gives out the assignment, and then at the end of the video covers off everything that needs to have been done in that assignment. So you can sort of play that first section at the end of class when you're setting an assignment for your students. And then in the next session, you can just start from that point and then move on to the end of the video where you explain the assignment in detail, what you've expected of your students for that assignment. So then there are a few ideas for how your students can use video as well. So it's a really great outlet for creativity, making videos. It's just a great way for students to exercise their visual imagination and sort of learn a bit about sort of visual storytelling, you know, pacing and how to sort of, you know, translate text into a visual medium. So for example, turning their written projects into videos. So say, for instance, they've written an essay, and then sort of the idea of translating that into a video. Great, finding out how they can sort of condense their work, what are the essential elements of their work to represent through animations and imagery. Making video portfolios is a really great exercise for students as well, particularly in the realm of business studies, because it just teaches them the idea of sort of assembling their achievements and sort of showcasing them in a singular sort of context. In the same way that I mentioned the teacher introduction, it's a really cool idea for students to use video to introduce themselves, just because it gives them a chance to show who they really are. They get to show what their interests are, their kind of visual sensibilities. It's just a great way for them to sort of integrate themselves into the class and establish their identities. And similar to what I was saying earlier about revision, students can use video to sort of recap what they've learned. So, after you've covered a specific topic, sending students away to create a video summarizing what they've learned is a really great way for them to revise, because they're sort of going through that content over and over as they build the video, and they end up creating something that they can revisit at any time, that summarizes everything that they've learned. Obviously, we're approaching Christmas, so the holidays are on the brain, and it's a really great way for students to be creative at Christmas time as well, or approaching any holiday, is to set them a video assignment. It gives them a chance to, test their sort of video making skills, whilst also doing something very fun and very sort of seasonal. Similarly to what I mentioned about the subjects, they can use our subject templates as well to create a video on a course topic. It gives them a chance again to just put down everything that they've learned, summarize it through images and text, and also try and sort of keep that theme coherent of whichever subject they're studying. So finally, there are some ways that you can use video within your organization as well. So typically, video animations are seen as a creative exercise, as something to communicate. And really, you can use those videos to communicate within your organization, even if you're not sort of outwardly marketing the organization. So they're a really good way, animations are a really good way to share updates amongst your colleagues, because not only do you get to summarize everything visually, you get to show, images, sort of GIF animations, sort of drawings of what has been accomplished. But just the sense of a video is also really good for morale as well, getting to see on a screen how things are unfolding. It can be really encouraging for your colleagues. Having hosted some training sessions myself, I know that videos are really valuable within training sessions as well. It's just a great way of breaking up any training that you're doing. So, some of it you will deliver in person, but also using videos to break up those sessions to deliver further content. It just gives, your colleagues a bit of time to sort of absorb information through a different means. Obviously, slideshows are a very traditional means of delivering information in a meeting, but replacing these with video animations is a really good idea, just because they're slightly more dynamic than a slideshow would be. Again, you can use that camera within the desktop version of VideoScribe to create some really dynamic, like diagrams, or sort of, like I was saying earlier, with the mind map, to sort of show how different parts of your organization maybe relate to one another. It's a much more, again, dynamic way of sort of presenting what's going on within your institution. And then obviously, for marketing purposes, video is absolutely ideal. You get to really show off the identity of your institution, through your logo, your color scheme, photos, music, voiceover. it all comes together to sort of show who you are. So it's great for whether you're creating, videos for Instagram or YouTube, or if you're using them for student recruitment, you are broadcasting through video who you are and what you've accomplished. So videos are absolutely ideal for that.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of the session. So thank you so much, Oliver. I found that really informative, and hopefully everyone watching did too. And we do have 5 minutes for a Q&A, so that's great. We finished in time. But to say thank you to everyone for attending, we want to give you 25% off our annual plans. So you can use the code on the screen, webinar25 at checkout, and you'll get 25% off. So if you head to VideoScribe.co, you can get your discount, and you can also try 7 days for free as well. So you could do the trial and then purchase a plan with a discount if you wanted. And if you want to reach me or Oliver, or if you have any additional questions, you can reach us at marketing@sparkle.com, and we will get back to you on there. But I think we have a bit of time for our Q&A, and I can see a few questions. So we have one from Michelle. So she's said that she uses the desktop version already, and she wasn't aware that there was a browser version. So can she access it using her existing credentials, or is it available for an additional fee? Would you like to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So both versions of VideoScribe are included in your subscription. So there's no additional fee for getting the desktop version or the browser version. You use the same login details. If you go to the VideoScribe website, there's a link on there to enter the browser version directly, or to just download the desktop version and log in there. But yes, it's all included, which is really, really handy. It just gives you a couple of different options for creating your videos. They do have a few differences at the moment. So one you might find is more useful for creating videos than the other, depending on what you're planning to create. But both are available as part of your subscription.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're creating videos for. So for me, because I create videos for our social channels, I use the browser version. Because I need all the different canvas sizes. So you can have square, landscape, and vertical canvases, which obviously for social media is really handy. Obviously, if you're using it for education, you may find that you only need landscape, and then the desktop version is fine. But definitely, Michelle, you can log in to the browser version, and you could try it out. So we have another question from Rosie. So she's asked, will there be a workshop on voiceovers? And she's also asked, how can I incorporate the template for introduction to me in my videos, or should this be played separately? So I'm not sure if we have any workshops on voiceovers planned, unless you know anything.
I don't know anything that you don't.
Yeah, so maybe no to that one, but it's definitely one that we'll bear in mind if that is something that you'd be interested in. Yeah, that could be interesting. I'm not sure if we have any blogs on that, but we can email you if we do.
We do have some older blog posts, I know, so we might be able to send some links over to you, Rosie. With just some, I believe we've had some guest blog posts, so it's from people who professionally do voiceovers. So that might provide some information, some interesting information for you.
Webinar session, a voiceover, if that was something that you're interested in. And the other question is, how can I incorporate the template introduction to me in my videos? Should it be played separately?
So your template, the templates are for a video file. So once you have edited the template however you like, once you've created, once you've changed, whatever you want to change, added whatever you want to add, you would export that as an MP4 video, or if you're using the desktop version, there's a few other video formats you can export it as. At the moment, you can't import videos into VideoScribe. So it sounds as though you wanted to use that introduction template within another video. So you wanted to have that video sort of playing within another VideoScribe animation. At the moment, that's not possible. It is something that I know has been flagged before for our developers. So I can certainly pass on the message that there's been further interest for using videos within a VideoScribe project. But as it is, you would basically edit that template, export it as an MP4 file, and then if you wanted to sort of play that in the middle of another video that you have, you would need to use video editing software, say, for instance, Windows Movie Maker, I believe, is still around, Premiere Pro, Final Cut. So you would edit that within another video file. But obviously, yes, so you can't use a video within VideoScribe at the moment.
Yeah. And Pete said that he would also be interested in voiceover training. So I think that's definitely something to bear in mind for us. We'll definitely look at sort of maybe getting more content out there for, voiceovers and things like that. Yeah, I think that's all the questions that we've had, and we have actually come to the end of our time. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining us today, and especially if you've stayed till now, thank you. And thank you to Oliver again for joining me. It's been a really great session. And we will have another webinar in January in the new year, which we will be promoting soon. So stay tuned if you'd like to join the next one. And that's all from us. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.